Hello. Hi, hi, hi. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on what part of the world you're in. My name is Brenda Unu. I'm excited to have you here today. If you can see, oh, we have the first person to join is Paz Baby. Paz Baby, you get a gift from us today as the first person to join. Welcome, 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 everybody. So excited to have you all. So excited to have you all. Welcome. Yay. It's a full house already. So today we're going to be discussing. Hi, everyone. We're going to be discussing. Oh, yes, we have our guest in the house. Hi, Morenike. Nice to have you. So let me just invite you right away. Welcome, everyone, and Happy New Year! It's our first live of the year 2024. We're so excited to have you, and we have a guest. Yes. Join. Let's see if we can see her beautiful face. Hi. There she is.
Hi.
Such a sight for sore
Hello.
eyes. Hi,
Yeah.
beautiful mom. How are you today? Thank you.
I'm well, Brenda. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for joining us. I mean, to get anybody out from this holiday mood, I'm so excited to have you. Thanks for joining today. Welcome, everyone. Thank you guys for joining early. So today we're going to be talking about women and shame. What a topic. Before we dive into the topic, I want our guest to introduce herself. Tell us about you. You know, just let's feel you.
Okay.
Let's know who you are.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. So I don't want to jump the gun, right? So I was saying this particular topic has had people commenting on my timeline since on WhatsApp, on Facebook, so
Mm-hmm.
apparently it means a whole lot to us and to the
It is.
population will probably do it after. My name is Morenike Amosu and I wear several hats. I communicate, yeah, I train, I teach, I coach, I do deep conversations like this one. So it was a no-brainer when I decided that I must jump on this. Yeah. I also do
Yeah.
fashion retail. Yeah. So I thought
Okay.
to let you know that.
Excellent. Thank you so much. The funniest thing is that when I threw out those topics yesterday, as soon as you jumped on it, the very next place I took it to, like 5 people jumped on the topic again. I was like, okay, this is the
It's
topic we're
very
starting with.
conscious,
I said, this
Linda.
is the
It's
topic we're
very
starting with. I said, it's a big deal. There's so much to unpack. Apparently, women have been, held down for so long by, this shame thing. So today we're going to be demystifying it. We're going to understand
yeah.
what is shame. What is it and how can we overcome it? Because it's just held so many people down for so long. And this is our year of blooming, is our year of flourishing, and we can't flourish if we don't deal with those things that are holding us down. So first of all, tell me, Marika, what is shame? What is this shame thing? Why have we made it such a big giant? What is it?
Oh God, I'm almost busting at the seams. Okay, so I saw your definition in the morning. I went to WGA page and I
Yeah.
saw the definition and it was very apt. And so I thought to myself as I was penning a few things down, I added a few because that definition, the Google definition is
Yeah.
okay. However, there is more to it.
A
So,
lot more.
okay, I already can begin to see how people. So, shame, in the way that I define it, is like a powerful emotion, a complex, powerful emotion. And, it is characterized by a deep sense of inadequacy. Yeah? A deep sense of unworthiness. Yeah? And a deep sense of disgrace. Now, I have put this context because some people feel shame that comes from inadequacy. Some
Okay.
people feel shame that is born out of disgrace. And I hope that we'll have time to dissect it in this session.
Okay. Okay, I love it. Oh. I love it. It's just 8 minutes in and we're already going, we've gone deeper. We're in trouble today. So guys, you can hear, she's saying that, there's shame that comes from a sense of inadequacy and there's shame that comes from a sense of disgrace.
Yeah.
I can see it. I can see it. And I didn't even think of it in this direction earlier, but even just that definition you've given already is already taking me down plenty lanes. As a child, I used to suck my thumb, right? And I was one of those children that didn't know how to say, oh, you would outgrow it, right? You would outgrow sucking your thumb. I did not outgrow sucking my thumb. I sucked my thumb for the longest time. Like at a point, I had grandmothers and aunties that used to want to shame you for sucking your thumb. Funny enough, my mom wasn't one of those people. My mom used to say, "Oh, please leave her alone. People that suck their thumb, they're very introspective, they're very intelligent. So just leave her." And everybody. She used to say, "Have you seen any adults that sucks their thumb?" She would obviously outgrow it, but leave her. It's it's something. But there were people who used to want to shame me for that, who used to want to abuse you, and clap on your head and say, "Look at you at your age," and that was from disgrace. That is not inadequacy, right?
Yeah.
There's another whole level when we talk about shame from inadequacy. There's sometimes when you see people, maybe when you come and you meet your classmates many years after school, they're all coming in cars and you don't have a car, you're walking to the place, you may not begin to feel a bit embarrassed when you guys have to meet up somewhere. That may be shame from inadequacy, right? Am I correct?
True. Yes, you are. Yeah.
I'm loving it.
Yes, you are. Yeah. I want to give a little context to the unworthiness, there was a leadership conference that I attended towards the end of last year, and we deliberated a lot on the culture of shame. And while I would like to think that shame affects women more, apparently it affects the whole populace. I see someone on the call already say, shame in Africa. That's a different, as a whole ball game. But the truth is, if we can unpack shame, as I believe that this conversation would unearth, we will see that there's actually, the closer you get to that thing that makes it look as if you should be ashamed of yourself, which is how they say it, the more you would see that there's really nothing once you own up, So I'm believing that we're going to look at it from the angle of flaws, from the angle of unrealistic standards, to gender. There's just a whole lot. So I'm waiting on your lead. Yeah?
In fact, take the lead, please. Just help me here because as they're talking, I should be taking notes. Like, hello.
All right.
I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited at the angles that you're bringing it from. And this culture of shame is a whole. When I was trying to research a little about this morning, I saw that it said shame was the first emotion known to man, even from the Bible. Like Adam and Eve, when they were created, they were naked, but they were not ashamed. The minute they went to go and eat what they did not send them. That's when they knew shame. And that was the first emotion that they knew, even as human beings. And since then, shame has not left us. Not shame is not this serpent that causes shame like this. But, we have even taken this thing to a whole new level by celebrating it and using it as a weapon for some people.
That weapon, that weaponizing,
Yes. When we talk about the culture of shame, I see how sometimes, the other day, I remember as a child, sometimes they will say to you that, why did you not get so score? The people that have it, didn't have 5 heads, and they would think that they were somehow motivating.
We need to get them all in a class. I know, right? Like, it's hydra-headed, this shame talk. I'm believing that we'll be able to unpack it, as you have said. Based off of what I have researched a bit, I'm going to be dropping some key elements of shame. I would look to you for directing or steering more questions, more clarity, or if we have people on the call who would also type in things. So I talked about, I looked up a few things, and I realized that while we can't exhaust the places where shame occur, I realized that it mostly is always based on individual experiences, societal norms, and maybe cultural expectations. which is why this thing would look like a women thing. I'm expecting men on the call, by the way. I sent it to my brother. I sent it to my husband. He's not at home.
Yeah,
I want
there's a guy on
people
my
to
status
join.
that sent a message to say, please send me
Correct.
the link. I was like, Uncle, I said it's
Exactly.
women. Why are you
Another
asking
guy.
for link?
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, I looked at it. I looked at shame. I felt we could discuss the angle of body image and beauty standards, for instance, which is a constant. I mean, that thing around body shaming, as even though now it now looks as if it has grown and it has come to stay, it was always there. A little somebody says something that is just slightly derogatory. So I'll use real life. My daughter is going to be a teenager this year, yippee. But sometime last year, she actually asked me, you know, she's like an ambivert, so she can be extroverted, she can be introverted, she's right there. So she goes, is there any part of your body that you do not like? I didn't even hesitate from what I was saying. I was like 7 or 10 parts. Like, nobody ever likes all of their body. Like,
Yeah.
hello, I have grown this long before I embraced my forehead gangness, you know? And she said, oh, really? I said, yes. And she said, oh, where? And of course, maybe I said, oh, I don't have enough bum, I this, like that. I said, but you know that I have too much mouth. That's so plenty times I would say, I would rather not trade a fine face for a curvy body. I don't know if you know that, you know, meaning that's me gassing myself up. But over the years, all through time, body image and beauty standards is one aspect where people can be shamed.
Absolutely.
And so that's vanity metrics. So maybe we should just move it aside. There's now sexuality and the stigma associated with sexuality. Brenda, do you realize that there are people on this call within who are probably friends of you and I who can't openly talk about sex? Talking about sex, if I came to your office, your architectural office, I'll be talking bricks and mortar. But I'm saying we're talking sex, we're a group of people, maybe men and women. It's the right gathering, it's an intimate circle, maybe 8 of us. And some people actually will just do it as well. We're made to feel that it is dirty to talk about sex. And it's a certain shame. And there are plenty things about our body that we don't know. I don't know, Brenda, if you have heard conversations in the joint circle that we belong to, where people don't actually know that there's a different hole, different from the one you urinate with. Do you get people who don't know their bodies? Because that conversation was always shut down. I don't know if some people on this call, if when you had a baby, I had a baby and I had some tears. And I told my mom that, please, could you help me look at it? And she said, don't worry, it will go. It meant that it was awkward for her to look at that, to look at the vagina. I don't understand. My mom is as old as you want to check. You know, it was just this awkward conversation, right? I'll just go through them very quickly. There's another one on motherhood and career. Hey, I met a young girl in her 30s in November, and she said to me, she said, she feels she's called to people who want to transition who entrepreneurship is no longer paying them and want to transition to 9 to 5, but feel a certain sense of shame and failure. I'm like, are you sure you don't want me on like a life? I said, I've done like 30 things in this life, and I feel that there are lessons, and they've also helped me towards clarity, even as I wait to gain more clarity. So it means that typically people will shame people, they will shame women based on their choices, you know, 5 children, you know, they think, you know, in the end, if somebody can afford it, Brenda, I can come with my 1 child, you can come with your 10 children, and it can be okay. Do you get? When we were growing up, yet again, don't forget that career choices were actually shamed. Why? Why? No be your mates. No be your mates won't do doctor. Yeah? So you're there, you said you did fisheries, or you did something. Or I am a natural linguist. I just went around the curve. Because apparently I would not have been able to say, I want to do linguistics. In short, where I come from, my state university, they'll say it's glorified Yoruba, which is also not bad, if that's what I want to study. Yeah? So there's all of that. Yeah? Another one quickly is gender roles and expectations.
I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you there.
All right.
Because my head is hot. I was writing.
I'm listening.
And I
right.
want to draw us back. I want to draw us back because we're talking about women, right? So I
Yes,
think we need
please.
to spend a little bit more time on that body shaming, especially because
Mm.
women, we are the cradles. We're the ones who rock the cradles. We're the ones who guide the children more or less, right? A father is very
Yeah.
important in a girl's life, but a mother is who they come to when they have these body conversations.
Yes,
Like
please.
my daughter was saying to me that, oh, mommy, I don't like my body at all. I'm like, eh? You? As I'm hailing, like I'm thinking and looking at her like, how do you get so
Hmm.
convolutions at this age? Me, I was still
Baba
very
babe.
flat. I was still very
Yeah.
flat at this age. Like I'm thinking, what don't you like
True.
about it? So we tried to talk about it. And I realized that she was looking at her friends and thinking, oh, this person is so beautiful, I'm not as beautiful. And I'm like, hello, have you looked at yourself recently?
Ah,
you know
Egbawa.
and
Yeah.
she had specific things that she was talking about. Oh, my face is too long. Oh, my chin is too. I'm like, this long face that I was looking for. I was this round faced child, and I was looking for a long face for the longest time. And I'm thinking, hello, like how is this a thing? And you know how they say that the grass is always greener on the other side?
Yeah.
It's funny. And I said to her that God made us different for variety's sake, right? Just imagine if everybody in the world was one mold.
Like
It would
one
be so boring.
particular country like that.
I'm not there. My
I'm
father
just,
is still
I'm
at
just,
that
I'm
country.
just, I'm
My
just.
father is still at that country that God just created a mold. It was like he was tired that day. Maybe it was just a Sunday, or
He
it was
just
Saturday
batch.
evening.
He just did a
Saturday evening,
batch.
he was about to rest. It's like, please, just excuse me, just pour this thing in this and just keep
I
on
know,
creating. I said, Daddy, I'm
right?
not but seriously, and the thing about body shaming is the kids of nowadays, some of them are so mean. If you hear the things that they say, the things that they write on social media, you're like why, how, and so if
Mm.
they carry those kind of things and go and say to
Mm.
their classmates, and if your child is not properly affirmed at home, they come back thinking, oh, they are right. Me, I had this upon you. I heard you talk about it. I was laughing for the longest
Ah.
time. I used for the longest
Brenda,
time.
please
They
leave
used to
that
laugh at
group
me.
already. Just leave it for us, eh?
It's
Now I even now say I think that's what makes me fine. If I'm doing like that,
my
yeah.
mom said it.
Like
My
please,
mom literally said it to me that it's a beauty spot. My
yeah,
mother
it
was the
is.
number one hype woman. She said, "Oh, what are you kidding?
Shout
Anybody that
out
doesn't
to
have forehead, the person is
mommy.
ugly. And the person is ugly. The person, I flat head. What's that? That this is a beauty spot." So if you even before you yab me, I'm like, no, sorry, it's a beauty spot. Hello, and this was
Correct.
me who
Ah,
had I had knock knees. So they would laugh at me and say,
yeah,
"You have K legs." I said, "No, I don't have K legs. I just have knock knees."
yeah,
Like my mother had all the words. She had the words for everything. Like it was,
yeah.
she
God
armed
bless
me. And
her. In
and
that age, oh, in that
as
day,
in that time
those
when
days.
it wasn't even so because I was the only dark child in the house where everybody was light skinned. My
I've
mother
heard
was
you
very light.
say that.
And
Yeah.
I used to always cry and think I was ugly. I used to think, it was a lot. So she had to do a lot with me. I don't think maybe my siblings may even have all of this side of how, but I think she had to do a lot with me, particularly because hey God, I used to think I'm so ugly. I'm the ugliest one. I used to read stories about ugly duckling, and I could relate. Do you remember that story of ugly duckling?
I know, right?
My mother will not point me to, but you can see the way it ends. She became the beautiful swan. Like, how
Yeah,
is it like calling you
yeah.
ugly?
Tell them. Right.
So the thing about body shaming and how to overcome it is it's okay. I mean, it's quite natural to look at somebody and think, oh wow, she's beautiful, right? Oh wow, I wish I had those hips. Or oh wow, I wish I had that kind of flat tummy. Or oh wow, look at those legs. It's
Yeah.
okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, you also need to get to the point where you're able to say, oh, she's beautiful, and then just keep it moving.
Yeah.
Not she's
Keep it moving.
oh, why am I not
Yeah.
beautiful like this? Who did I offend? Father, Lord,
Mm,
why? And they have to go down,
mm.
and then you're not just go into this hole that you cannot come out of. So the way to do it is to look at yourself every morning and gas yourself up. Hey God, I'm
Gas
my number
yourself
one gas.
up. Yeah.
Like
Like see babe now.
I'm
Like
marrying a
see
husband.
babe now.
Imagine me coming from my mother that was always affirming me to a husband that could not even say anything. Like I would look at him and I'll just be expecting him to be hailing me, and he's like, he's just looking the other way, and I'm like,
Like auntie.
who is this guy? So when I quickly learned, to gas myself up. So I'll stand in the mirror, in front of him in the room, full length mirror. I'll be fully naked. I'm like, oh God, they create. What's it?
Like God, please. What were you trying to achieve, sir?
He'll be like,
Like this.
What's wrong with you? I said, no, wait. Can't you see the babe? Like, man, I'm too much. He's like,
I
what's
like
been
that.
deceiving you? I'm like, nobody. I can see now. Don't I have eyes? Like, at this point, he just gave up and said, okay. So when I started, oh God, they create. What a babe can me. He was just like, okay, it's all right. And then he now say,
Yes.
oh God. He now goes like, who did I offend? And how did I get into this kind of...
Into this? Yeah.
Quickly removed the power from anybody else. Remove the power from anybody else to tell you that you're beautiful. Wake up in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror, and remember that God created you and said you were good.
Yeah.
So you are all right. You are more than all right. In fact, you are amazing, right? You're gorgeous. And part of what they used to teach us about, talking to children and helping them is don't praise what is not true. Do you understand? So in order to affirm children, you start by praising something that is actually true. Maybe something like, oh, I really love the way you are very empathetic towards your younger ones. I love the way you helped her. So they can relate that that's true. So when you start on that, you can now go to the next thing and say, oh, but your eyes are just, I can't get over your beautiful eyes. They believe you instantly because you came with something that they know that is true.
Something, that they didn't have to question.
You don't just wake up and say, so beautiful.
And they're thinking, mommy. I know, right?
When you come up with something that they know that is true, they can relate to, and build it up into the and with girls, there's a thin line between self-confidence and self-conceit. You have to be very conscious about the fact that, okay, so you're trying to build their confidence, but you don't also want to get them to a point where they are now too proud. They are now a problem to the nation.
Where they're now, I know, right? So you mentioned something critical when you said the meanness that little children or growing adolescents are exposed to.
Yeah.
And I almost can feel that because trust me, Brenda, one, not everybody will be like you or I or anybody on this call who has come into their own. One. Two, even for the most confident, they weren't always like that. And so for me, a constant concern is always who is talking about these things, yeah? When I put it on my timeline, I said we should have these conversations that can hopefully trigger change, yeah? I heard that for the longest time, as much as it does not fit the context of this our conversation, that the more people saw a Tyler Perry, the more it looked like a black man. It just began to look doable. Yeah, you would see another person who's just doing their job. Oh, newscaster, oh, this. And then somebody, a young child in a village, will say, she has my skin. Yeah. And if she has my skin and can do this, then it means that I can do it too.
Absolutely.
And so I constantly worry can we constantly challenge the narrow ideals of what beauty represents? At least all of us now know that photo editing is a thing. And so for the longest time, way before social media became like this, in short, one day recently, I think on one of our groups, I had put up, I was going for a training and I had put up a picture of me. I think you do that more than most of us. And I put up a picture of me and a dear sister friend said, this is really nice. Like, who did your makeup?
So
You'll be shocked. I didn't even have makeup on. I didn't have one. So it meant that I got an app, I leveraged it. I just enhanced a little one or two things, seeing as the fact that baby girl is a baby girl before, But yes, we should challenge the ideals of beauty. And I just thought to mention it that at times, even when you're trying to be your best self, so you, Brenda, for instance, have had times when you were slim. You know that slim where hubby wants more flesh, everybody feels hotty after 40, see how, there's all of that. And then when you are chubbier, so I think that this shame talk does not give, it doesn't mean that I may not want to get better or get fit or get, or get more. Do you get
and I've got
an acceptance of self, right? Body positivity. As a matter of fact, I hear African men say that if there's nothing to touch, that's conversation for another day, yeah? If there's not, like, if
They
it's
are
rose, please, it's a love
enablers.
handle.
They are
It
the
is love
enablers.
handle. Brenda, it
These
is love
are the
handle.
enablers, but these people, they are not.
We are, yeah, but at some point, I also would like that for a partner, a husband, you know, your loved ones, that they love you regardless. They love you if you don't have 1 ounce of flesh. They love you if you're around. They love you, and then you bask in that glow, because that's what most people would do to their children, you know, to say, you're fine, you know, you're fine in any form you are. And then anybody that tries to shame my daughter is tall. Before they come and say, ha, a woman should not be, please, oh, please.
You know
Just help me,
the
please.
story of Pearl now. SMA was the tallest in her class for the longest time. And, you know, she had this boy that even bully her. I was in the school. I reached there. Hello, excuse me. What's happening? The teacher said, maybe
Bully
he likes her. If he likes her, I should say he likes her.
Address this.
Liking and bullying are two different things. Stop it. You know, this olden days things of saying, oh, maybe the boy likes her.
Say like, Nipo.
Let's stop it there, you know. And so, you know, it's that thing. She for the longest time, she was almost slouching, thinking, oh, I'm so tall, let me hide. And I said, no. I said to her, I said, you know what? Tall people can wear heels. Tall people can wear heels to become taller, right? But why would you want to come down? Everybody that is shorter than you, they're trying to become taller. They're wearing heels.
Are they you?
They're already.
True.
Absolutely. And then she started to do it because, you know, she was like the tallest and everything. But guess what? Her sister, the youngest one that was like very normal, that one just jumped up to her height one day. And this girl said, what's going on? Okay, me so I'm tall.
Exactly.
You know?
Thank you, dear parents, for good genes. Yeah. You know, we realize it came from somewhere.
People tell me things like, your children are tall, they must be from their father. I'm like, excuse me, am I sure? Are you all right?
I'm done with people.
You want to be,
oh God.
You want to be telling me again about my own children. What kind of human beings are these? You know, but it's a thing. And so as much as we can, we must teach people how to love themselves and like themselves enough to be able to go on. So let's move away from body shaming a bit. And you talked about shaming about your choices. Oh, my head was just going like, yum. I have many people, and this is very common with women, and it's commonly done by women. You know, women are the perpetrators, women are the victims.
They are the ones who hold it up. They are the enablers.
I can never understand it. Like, so I'm a woman and I've always worked, right? I came straight out of school, I started to work, and from work I started to marry, started to have children. So I will not see another woman that says, excuse me, I just want to relax and be taken care of. And I look at her like, what a lazy bone. Why don't you go to work? Hello, ma. You know, and we do it a lot. Sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. Sometimes our words, our actions, our body language is saying these things. And I'm wondering, who even set the standards?
Who sets the standards?
Who says it should be like this? Who says I have to work? Who says I don't have to work? Who says that, you know, I can't decide to take off time from work, look after my children, and go to work later? Who says I ever need to work? You know, I have a friend of mine that, I hope she's not on this call. She will just kill me. So,
a friend. You know how pastors are. Once you say, my friend, that one goes, they have obviously used me to preach.
This friend of mine never worked. Like, as far as I know, has never worked.
Yeah.
And she has her husband eating out of her palm. You know, somebody told us that you have to be contributing something to the marriage before you can have a voice. This girl is transforming the house with her baby girl like that. And I'm thinking, hey, God, who did us this thing? Who told me this narrative? Why can't I be at home and chilling and be controlling things too? You know, at a point, I had to go to learn at her feet. Like, hello, ma.
Exactly. Because as you're talking it, I wanted to say, please, let me learn at her feet.
As I'm here like this, my sister, I don't even know how to envy somebody. If I see something that I like, I will praise you, then I'll come and meet you. Excuse me, please, how are you doing? Just teach me. Because at that time, I was working hard. I was a career girl, bringing in money, paying bills. And I was not getting half the recognition and love this girl was getting. And I had to say,
My
excuse me,
sister.
ma, what are you doing differently? Can you
Something. Yeah.
And actually, she taught me some practical things. I mean, that's conversation for another day. And one day I will bring her on the call. And she taught me some really practical things that changed the dynamics in my marriage, like literally. So, which is why I say people are different. And that's what our husband likes. My husband will not be happy. One day, like you're at home, he's looking at you like, hey, who do you want to be?
Like, can't you go out and work?
Can you please go out and work?
Yeah, so I feel that if we had to turn the searchlight in, some of the things that we actually are talking about now, all of us on this call have been at some point guilty of it. Let me explain. So you have a best friend, and she's just a homebody. Don't forget that it took a while for us to realize that, oh, people don't want to go out, they're okay. People who want to be the life of the party, they're okay. I'm still talking about just lifestyle choices. Oh, people who don't want to work. This afternoon, my daughter asked me that, what does a trust fund baby mean? I said, like if your dad, if your great grandfather was some money, and then they now left you some huge money, such that even if they say you can access it at 16 or 18, I mean, you already now don't need to work. So I feel that we did not have, where the whole world, the whole polity, we're guilty of not having wholesome conversations. So it's not out of place that you and I will be friends in the university. You would have your life mapped out. You've always been the go-getter girl. And then in trying to help me, you don't know that you're shaming me and saying, you don't have ambition. I actually have a brother who you know that if I don't correct the impression, he's already measuring his girlfriend by my standards. Now that's the wrongest thing, because if you know the plenty things that I don't do right,
one in 100
if
million.
you know if you know the plenty things, so he looks at the things that he admires in me and feels that why can't she be like that, and he doesn't say it often. It's just evident in the way. So first things first is that we need to look at it. Have we been guilty of blaming someone for not having ambition? Have we been guilty of saying to someone to say, so for instance, I know we've not gotten to that, but some people don't want to marry. Brenda, some people will never have children. It is not a problem. It is the African mother in us that feels, hey, let's pray. Or maybe it's depression or something, or it's the blues. So most of the things, we talked about women being the custodians, the gatekeepers of these things. But the truth is, at times we don't even know. As we get more self-aware, which is why I like the good work that we're doing at Women Growth Academy, as we get more aware, you question the things that you once thought was okay. Who said it was okay? Who decided the standards? Yeah? Why can't I fail flat in entrepreneurship, and because I'm a graduate, go and try for career? Why can't it be that I would rather, somebody says something, I say, no, I want to be a career woman till I retire. And no, you can't even shame me on that. You know this thing where they say, you're already pushing 20 years at your workplace.
You're working on somebody else's dream.
I want to conquer the head of those sayers. Like there's a beauty, there's a flavor. So I have this mantra. I have a friend who's like a coach, and she's ruthless. So I don't do ruthless coaches. It just doesn't work for me. I know that Brenda can also pull us to deliver, but it doesn't work for me. And so every time she says, and she says these things that she say, they are thought-provoking, and they come from a good place. So she says to me that she thinks I'm so talented that I should be able to determine where I live the best of life, have the best of cars. If you know me, Brenda, and that is not the reality yet, why ET? It means that when I'm done with her, part time, I may be drained from just this, I am not meeting up with potential. And then I wish she had met me at 16. Maybe I would have been gullible. But she met me at this grand old grandmama age, And so I said to her, there's no one way to be human. Not one way, yeah? I say I will do the best I know to serve and to be of value to my world. And then things will begin to open up. So in my books, gratitude is a big part. I know that I'm living in the middle of answered prayers. I am sure about contentment. So you now come there and you say, Tokumbo, if I had half your talent, I would be on global stages, 120 global stages per month. Okay, so I love you too, but that's not the reality. As of this morning, so let's not pressure people. Let's not say, you should have had 2 babies by now. In short, somebody told me that Dem Adesua, it can't still be one child they have. By whose standards? Who is checking? But it is true, Brenda. It is. People count. People look at the tummy of a new wife. They look at it and they feel, is there a problem? There's no problem. Like, there's no problem.
People, even for their choices. Because if truly there was a problem, how does your saying so help?
Exactly. Exactly.
Pointing out help. Which is where I want people to think about these things. You know, if you really wanted to help, I'm the kind of person that errs on the side of caution. Like, I don't even want to talk about this because I'm that kind of person that, you know, my husband would even ask me things about my own sister. Like, I say, I don't know. I don't know.
Exactly.
Like, do you understand?
Because she's not saying it willingly. So maybe we should leave it that way.
Until you volunteer information, I don't even want to ask. I am that person. Do you know that the other day, a friend of mine who is waiting, you know, is believing God for a child, and said to me, they're a very bad friend. I said, Mike, how? So you've not even asked me how we worked out for this matter. I said, There I was thinking.
I should ask you. I thought I thought boundary wise, I was the poster child.
I was doing well by just, you know, praying for you in my own corner.
By just maintaining my lane.
Being normal with you, not
where you don't feel awkward, you don't feel anxiety when you're coming to see me or see a group of friends. Yeah.
But it's me, I have 4 children. I can't even start children. Do you understand? It's like, in fact, but he's so free that one of those days he had even said to me that, Brenda, don't worry, you see that we have how did he say it? You'll be our surrogate mom because we can see that you have plenty of children in your body.
Plenty eggs in your body. Thank you. I'm a convention.
I've just realized that, you know, some people are different, you know, and I had another friend who was waiting and did not want to talk about it. The day we even said, oh, have you done this? Have you done that? I said, do you think I would not have done those things? How can you be asking me that question? So because of that, you know, people are just different. So I would say that, you know, relate people how they want. So when I found out that this my friend was saying love as me checking. So when I find information about something, I share it with him, and we start a conversation. And he says, "Oh, yeah, we've done like this, done like this. If you find this type, help me." So I now realize that that's what he wants, right? That's how he sees a concern and sees love, versus the other person who was like, "Oh, they asked me that. Do you think I have not tried all those? Am I a baby? Do you understand?" So, but we have. In as much as we need to realize that people are different. So in as much as we say, okay, don't put pressure on people, don't ask them, I will still err on the side of not asking people. By the grace of God.
Because my sister, it pays, you know, actually. You know, I know, right?
I remember when I had my 3rd child, it was my son, and I think because I was 30 what? I can't remember how old was I? That was one. Okay, so I was maybe 34. I can't remember about that. So I think maybe because of the age, I did not quite rescind back to my side as fast as before. Because before I didn't do anything else with the girls. I'll just get pregnant when I'm resuming work by the 3rd month. I'm snapped. Bah! No work done, nothing, not even one exercise, right? And this was first child was a CS, second was vaginal. So it's not as if because of anything they did not tie my stomach or anything. It was just snap back. This number 3 shade. It was even vagina.
That's how the old body
was just bodying. Like he was just bodying. He refused to go down. There was nothing I did not do. And I think that maybe I was some kind of relaxed because I was one of those people that was like, hey, I want a boy, I want a boy. And because I really wanted only boys. So I didn't want kids at all. So after having 2 girls, I wanted to stop 3. So when I had the boy, so maybe it was the relaxation that, okay, so my family is done, I'm okay. My sister, I started to spread, literally. In my husband's happiness, he did not mention. I went out one day and I saw this guy. He's my husband's friend.
Who felt he had become a ball?
The guy did not even recognize me. I went to greet him. It was our clients, right? So you know I do work with my husband sometimes. So it was a client. So I went to go and greet him. I was like, hello, sir. And he looked at me. I said, Tony's wife. And I says, madam, is this you? Okay? Why are you so big? I almost entered the around.
Mm.
If not that the guy was a client, what I would have told him that day would never have tried with anybody else. I was so angry, sister.
Oh
I was
God.
so angry, and I was like, how? And I even said to him, I said, Apple, I just had a baby now. You know, as my baby was like 5 months old, I was like, I just had a baby. He now said, oh yeah, it's true. They mentioned it. So how are you now? But I was just angry. So I went home that day and I looked into the mirror and I said, am I that big? Why did this guy say this kind of thing to me? And I checked my jeans, sister of the Lord. I was using a size 18. I was using a size 18. I realized that I did not realize I had gotten that big. So it took that guy to tell me, and I said, And I went to go and start dieting, start exercising. I changed all my meals, reduced my portion. I started doing active. That was the first time I ever started to do something about my weight. And well, in a few months, I was able to be back. I say this to say that while it is not good, it is bad manners to talk to people and to say what they did not send you. Sometimes, you know, and I would say we should take this on a relationship basis. That guy did not do well at all.
On a relationship basis, I think that people can even make their expectations known, almost like your friend who did not mind a check-in. I'm reading the comments on the conversation on the IG live, and I see people say, oh, I used to be nosy. I actually got born again. Other people say, oh, it's better to not say. Oh, this, you know, so it means that after a while, because if you and I are close, over time, I could say to you that, Brenda, if I had a girlfriend of a brother-in-law that said to us that walls are not built in a day. They start with bricks. If something ever happens and you notice that there's a wall going up between us, please call attention. In short, never get waiting she don't do to offend me since then. And she has goofed quite a number of times. So I always remember that conversation. And as much as it's not about shame, she talked about it ahead. So I think that in clusters, in one circles where we can talk, that people should say so at times, even between you and I, we may have different measures of how we're comfortable. So if Brenda says, please, leave my bum as it's coming out like this, shall leave it. Do you get? So now I know that I can't shame you for it. I can't say, go and work on your weight. So it looks as if this Christmas. Exactly. But if you also know that she would like this size, you know, so it means that in love, which is another thing we will get to, in love, I can actually say, are you still checking? I think Sunshine once had a weight BMI calculator for us, you know, that would say, because yet again, I may make the mistake of using your own, what looks like your weight. Do you get? And it doesn't work that way because you are taller than me like this. You can almost see here, right? so BMI for you will be different from what is supposed to be my ideal. And so these conversations, it should show. And then some people will say, I'm even getting bigger, I don't mind anymore, right? Or you see someone who says, if I see something that is not so restrictive, I need the accountability, I think that I am getting indisciplined with food, you know, it's just a whole lot. It's a whole lot.
It is a whole lot.
I'm trying to get us to I want to get us to victim blaming. Victim blaming is multifaceted, right? But I had noted victim blaming from the angle of rape, from the angle of people's reproductive choices, from the angle of people who are being assaulted, from the angle of, victim blaming is a whole big spectrum on this this culture of shame radar.
Absolutely.
And I think that women being on the receiving end also makes it something that we should look out for. Because if we're not encouraging it, but perhaps if victim blaming would never leave, perhaps we should encourage the spaces where these people can talk. The few times that I have seen somebody go against the grain to talk about what they truly felt was Busola Dakolo's instance, and I think there was another celebrated instance, and it was around rape. Don't get it twisted that we can't finish that rape conversation. But why is it that there are people today who would say nobody will believe, it's no point? I find that really disheartening because it's 2024, not even 2023.
It is 2024.
Can you imagine? I used to put it's in 2023 my conversations, and now we parted. We parted.
I think that about this victim blaming, I think that my lip is shaking as I'm here now, because today when I was talking about this topic, I woke up, with a sense that I needed to share something. And I don't know if my chest is strong enough to share it, but
don't worry, you're in a safe circle, but it's also up to you, yeah?
There's a lot around rape. There's a lot around victim blaming and rape, and there's a lot about how people don't talk because you hear things like, "What were you doing there?" Like, who said? You said, "What were you thinking?"
I'm Voltroning for all the little girls that happen to cross my path. Not only my daughter, I'm Voltroning. That's my default stance now. Don't blame a girl. Don't kill her spirit.
It's so Voltroning. I mean, I was a young girl. I was dating this guy. We were both. I was clear. I am a virgin and I do not want anything at this time. And he was fine, right? We were clear. And me too. Once we go out, we go out, it's late, you crash at his place or go back to your house the next day, that kind of thing. So it was one of those kind of days, people of God. Your sister woke up and found herself in a very compromising situation. How did we get here? And it was so distracting, it was very, very painful, and I did not even voice it out for the longest time, because every time I wanted to voice it, I would say, "What were you doing there? What were you doing?" And today, I cannot ask any girl, "What were you doing there?" Because I believe that sometimes you can just be foolish.
Right? Said, "Or what were you wearing?
What were you wearing?
Or what were you wearing?" Of the people who their blouses are up more than what you're wearing like this, what people will still say?
They still look at it. Do you understand? They still get harassed. They still get harassed. So that "what are you wearing" is the most stupid question ever. Or "what were you doing there" is the most stupid question. People can be who they want to be, right? They can wear whatever they want to wear. Granted, it's a bit more, it makes sense to cover up and everything, because of other reasons, because we are children of God, because we want to honor God with our bodies. It's a completely different conversation about why you should even be attacked. Nobody should ever be attacked simply because of what they were wearing. Nobody should ever be attacked because of where they went to. Because some people would wear a hijab and still be attacked.
This reminds me, Brenda, it reminds me, sorry to cut you short, it reminds me of a story. I have a guy who's very close to me, like a younger brother figure, and he's pretty, all those people that are just fine, like girl, just pretty, and he got propositioned in church by some gay guy, right?
Oh, good.
And I'm still as shocked. I can be very, very last man on those kind of things. So I'm like, really? In church? Singles fellowship? I was just, But what surprised me, which is why it looks as if I want to help you take in that were you supposed to be there? Because what happened was he had gone to see this guy on the day he was gisting me. He had gone to see this guy, and the guy had actually tried to, just imagine how awkward it must be. Guy on guy with a straight guy. So I think narrowly, Uncle Shah managed to escape. So when he was gisting me, of course, the first question I said, so when I said, "What were you doing there?" It wasn't like that was what I wanted to ask. I wanted to justify all the millions of sisters that have been asked. So when I know you like me, and I'm young, and my decision making is not exactly 100. Yeah. It means that I don't mind the attention. Knowing now what I know, maybe I would control the places where we meet, or I would ensure that, maybe we'll just do FaceTime. But apparently there's something about this person who really likes you, who doesn't hide it. I think this guy even said they should meet in a restaurant, and then by the time he was tracing the restaurant, now said, "Coco be coming home," or whatever it is. And as a girl, I could relate, because Brenda, I went to everywhere. Is it that one that you say? I went everywhere. I had unnamed affairs. Unnamed affair meaning this person likes me. I haven't exactly said yes. I enjoy his company. But we can even talk about it more with young girls, so that you realize actions have consequences, yeah? And so you want to know that you did your best. But imagine,
don't follow every win that you have.
In this instance, this guy went to the gay guy's home. The gay guy tried to assault him. So I said, at least between you and I, we will never blame another girl again. Like, what did she go there and do?
Because
something can happen. happen,
that happened to you.
and she can go there.
Yeah.
And so now she would learn better. She would say, "Oh, this guy is very rough. This guy is brash and is not gentlemanly, and I will not go there again." Okay, I'm reading something from Temitope, who
See
says,
what
Temitope says, the
Amako
milk,
Venture,
yeah.
Amako Venture said, Oga Police said that if it looks like you're about to be raped, just go with the flow. And this is so painful. This is a policeman that's supposed to be helping you get justice. They
Please
say
tell
to
me
you,
to
don't go
cover
with
my
the flow.
mouth.
What does that even mean? What does that even mean? So, in other words, the
Okay.
policeman is here thinking, oh, it's better if you just go with the flow instead of being killed, maybe being, injured, because maybe sometimes in the fight they may kill you or something. So it's his own, how will I put it?
That's his coping mechanism. He
Yeah,
has defaulted to the rubbish that the standard is. So he has gone low.
but it's so
You know,
wrong. It's so
it's
wrong. How
very
can you
wrong.
be saying this? How can you say this? And that's what they say to women, and they think it's okay to say, instead of fighting back, just lie down.
Hey,
So that, I mean, some people even say it as much as, you're not cuckoo a virgin, what's the big deal?
ah. The one I know, when people try to shame a single girl has been involved in sex and sexual activities and decides that I'm going to be chaste going forward, almost like a conviction between her and herself. And then somebody says, why? Like say Namumu be the person where they date her. In any case, people know my stance on most things. I have hard conversations, and I think we should encourage hard conversations, that say, don't be stupid. If you don't know what to say, maybe we should keep it moving. Yeah. And of course, because most of these things are not talked about, or because of our patriarchal society, you find most guys just growing in the rubbish that they believe. People who say they really may be surprised. They're looking at you, they're thinking, so what do you, Brenda, you think otherwise? I think otherwise. I would say exactly what I want.
I say it everywhere I can, as in, and it's one thing to even talk about rape. I think rape is a little bit, I mean, most people are on the same page with rape. It's horrible. We all know that it's bad. What about something as like abuse, like domestic abuse, right? So we'll talk in terms of the physical abuse and even the verbal abuse. Some people think that if a man is verbally abusing you, they say, Kuku did not beat you now, so stay there, right? They don't even,
yeah.
Because it's not explainable, you cannot show your bruises. They say your own is too much. Maybe it's even your bad mouth that's making them abuse you. And they say, stay there. He's paying the bills. He's not beating you. What's the problem? Your own is too much self, right? And they don't know the damage it's doing to the woman mentally. They don't know. They wake up. They don't know why the woman wake up one day and they just find that she's not doing anymore. It's when people say things like this and blame you for maybe you're okay, or when a man is beating his wife and they say maybe it's because your mouth is too bad. What did you say to him that made him beat you? That's another stupid
Brenda.
question. It's in the same line
So what I feel, yeah. What I feel is this. I feel that societal norms is something that we need to constantly now challenge. As we know better. When we know better, we do better. We say that in my church all the time. Yeah. I did, if 10 years ago, I had a different opinion. Now that I know better, I'm going to shout it on the rooftops, one. So I think that, so for instance, this shame culture, you could see someone you really care about, maybe your mom, who has a totally different opinion about the woman should stay. Okay? So it is societal expectation, because don't forget that when I started with the definition of shame, I said a feeling of inadequacy, unworthiness, and a certain sense of disgrace. So it means that this grandma is living her life precariously through you. In it, he has children who are successful and happily married in their children's home. It's part of her purpose being fulfilled. So when it looks as if it's not working that way, every of their what will people say? And this is what will people say. Brenda, I used to think that we didn't have close people we could touch. Now, it's so glaring that truly, mommy, what would you have if there wasn't the church to consider? If there wasn't your friend whose own children have gone abroad? If there wasn't, what would truly be your default? So society actually places it on us. I don't know. Society, it's just like a never-ending thing. In a conversation that is not about shame, my brother's wife, her mom just died. As Catholics, they say, oh, they can't even leave the corpse for too long. So I think it used to be like a 2-week thing that became a 30-day thing. See her. How is she not side Catholic? Please, I'm giving you a story, please. Yeah, I know you're Catholic.
I haven't said anything yet.
And so, exactly. And so my dad, being Catholic too, actually said something like, oh, yes. So I remember having the hard conversation with my dad that he will grow old to the ripe old age of maybe 100 or 120 or whatever he wants. But it should be that he at least tells me ahead. So imagine my dad saying, if I die, when I die, at some ripe old age, maybe in 20 years' time, I'd like to be buried within the next 30 days. I begin to internalize it. Don't come at me with don't forget that death doesn't tell people. So this woman was 63, mom, she died. Her people are struggling. They don't have a house. All that. They are managing with, and then there's in 30 days. Sha, as we did like this, Sha, on the 19th, we have a burial.
But let me explain to you where that came from, and just to give you context, right?
Okay,
so
okay.
In the time past, burials were such that people would, especially maybe in the east and all of those areas, right?
Yeah.
People would take time. They would say, you must build a house first. You must have this first. So they would not keep bodies in the mortuary for 6 months, because they're trying to gather all the money they need for those burials. So the church now said, bury the people within 2 weeks. And the idea was that whatever you can gather and do in 2 weeks is enough, right? It would eliminate a lot of those things. Nobody can build a house in 2 weeks. Nobody can, So they would not, whatever you can do, the church has given you, and that was, that was the reasoning behind it.
Okay, I appreciate that context.
All of those big, I must do this party, I must buy a car, I must do this. If you don't have it, whatever you have is enough. Put the guy in the ground, right?
And then you can throw your party.
You cannot. Do you understand? So that was what informed that rule.
What necessitated it?
Yes, it was to reduce the cost around burial. But anyway, something you were saying, it brought me to thinking about something when we're talking about this victim blaming.